Hello, what have we here?
You're wrong.
Damn! What the hell was that?
Game over, man. Game over.
You're wrong.
You finished?
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Greetings, boys and girls, lemurs and squirrels, and welcome to the Week in Geek for April 1st in this foul year of our Lord, 2026. A wholly owned subsidiary of Free Range Idiocy, wherein we present our midweek dose of geekery for you, the people. Thank you, sir, for rescuing me from that train wreck of a sentence. Sit back and relax as we scrape the best news we found off the bottom of the interweb shoe and let you know exactly how we feel about it. I am your Uncle Todd with my speech impediment, and with me, as always, the leech, editor, and chief bottle washer of the Week in Geek. I give you the man they call Tim.
Greetings and salutations, my friend, and soon to be master of the NCAA bracket. I need to include that into my my introduction, my credentialing, if you will, because man alive, I just out of the blue just decided to do a bracket this season, and I am killing it. I am killing it. Woo!
Do you ever get tired of shining your own apple?
No,
do you ever?
This is a surprise to me. I expected to be, low ranking, not doing anything in this, and I end up I am sitting pretty with all four in the men's bracket, at least. The women's bracket, I stink, but the men's bracket, I have all four of the final four teams still active in my bracket, and I don't understand all the point breakdown of this system we're using and whatnot, but I am at least 20 points ahead of anyone in my office, so I'm killing it.
Is there any money on the line for this?
I think there's a prize I might get for being the champion, which may turn out to be a Starbucks gift card, which is the gift that keeps on giving. So
yeah, you can go get a couple of buckets of your lawn clippings juice.
Don't knock the matcha. It's very good. So.
I will knock the matcha. It's just sad green sadness water.
It does kind of look like at times like it was like seaweed that got.
It looks like something that was
ground up.
It got wrung out of a bilge pump.
That's actually a great comparison.
So who do we have in the Final Four? I have not been keeping abreast or any other body part of the happenings in the NCAA. I have not been keeping pace.
No, you haven't. Let me pull it up here.
Not a breast or a cheek.
No, not at all. So we have
a leg nor a wing.
No. We have let's see. Number 2 seeded UConn against number 3 seeded Illinois. And then we have on the other side number 1 Arizona against number 1 Michigan. So
all right, so there's no Cinderellas in this Final Four.
No. Actually, the one, and this killed me because this was a complete lark of a pick. But over in the I don't know what the region they are, but
you are
in
very
the bracket
larky,
that Michigan came out of. I had picked Tennessee, which was seeded number 6. Let's see. So they beat Miami of Ohio, which I correctly picked in the first round. Then they came up against number 3 seeded Virginia, and I went with Tennessee as the upset pick. They beat Virginia. Then they went up against number 2 Iowa State, and again I picked Tennessee, and they made it into the Elite 8. And so the one thing I do know about the scoring for the NCAA March Madness, whatever online, is you do get bonus points as you pick upset picks. So if you correctly pick someone to upset, a higher seeded team, you get a bonus point sort of thing. So they made the run all the way, and then they ran into Michigan, and that's when the Cinderella story ended because Michigan put the hurt on them 95-62. I mean, that was a whooping of epic proportion right there, my friend. So
that'll sting a bit.
That'll leave a mark. So yeah, it'll be interesting. So I have in the finals, who did I pick to be in the finals? I know UConn on the one side. Let me just pull up. Sorry, I have it on my phone here. I have number 2 UConn versus number 1 Michigan in the finals. and I selected UConn to win with a score of 92-88.
Wow, you even picked the score? Yeah, you have to
well,
do that for every game,
I
or is it
think
just that one?
for scoring purposes, they have you for the finals provide what you think what you think the score will be, and that's kind of a tiebreaker if there's a need for a tiebreaker.
Gotcha.
So,
well, I mean, kudos to you for your prognostication.
oh my gosh, I'm just amazing.
Once again, since I have not even been keeping, a toe of the situation in college basketball, how is our alma mater doing? How is the University of New Hampshire Wildcats? How they do in the field?
I think they're still practicing as if the tournament's starting this month, of like the month of April. I think
that's shocking considering how much of a basketball powerhouse they've been through the years.
Yes.
So do you remember back?
They've been weak in hockey and weak in football, but basketball is where UNH has always been. So.
So do you remember? I can't remember if it was before or after I left. But at one point, Casey Jones, he of Boston Celtics fame, NBA Hall of Fame player, and I don't know if he made the Hall of Fame as a coach. Probably should, because he got.
I thought he did as a coach because he had a really good run with the Celtics in the 80s.
Well, yeah, he had those 2 championships. But at one point, he basically was like campaigning for the head coach position at UNH. And UNH is like, yeah, we're not really interested. I'm like, how are you? Like, you've never been any good ever at basketball. Like, you recruit nobody. And yet, you have someone who, at the very least, you'll sell tickets. You might even recruit a person or two. Like, yeah, he probably doesn't know squat about college basketball, but he knows basketball.
Jeez.
So it's like, and you kind of like, nah, we're not interested. Now, I don't know what the salary demands were, and I think he had,
Sure.
I forget what the reason was. Like, there was a tie that he had to there was a family member or something was involved with, and so he had an interest in being part of the school. But yeah, I was kind of flummoxed by that back in the day. Like, really? You're going to say no? Okay, great idea.
You actually had probably an opportunity to like build some interest in that program with him on board. But anyways, wow.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I've also, just as we catch up over the past week, I was on break this past week. My youngest was home, so we had some good quality time together and played some video games, and we went to the Museum of Science and Industry and saw the Spider-Man exhibit that is featured right now, which is really cool. What else did we do? I did try a DIY project at home to install some shelves so we could try to organize the UCS Lego fleet that he has in his room.
Which I can attest to as the person who stayed in his room.
Yes.
It is impressive.
It is most impressive. But I'm now teetering on the edge of having a God, what was that movie Tom Hanks was in? The
The Burbs? Oh, no,
not the Burbs, the
Money Pit.
The Money Pit.
Yes.
Where I'm going to start hacking into the wall to understand why I couldn't drill a 2.5-inch hole to put a screw in, or actually 3, so I could put up these brackets to hold the. We bought these heavy duty shelves and brackets that are rated to hold such heavy items, and so long as you're anchoring them to the stud. This is not a drywall anchor sort of situation here.
Yeah, no.
no. You gotta anchor to the stud, ladies and gentlemen. So that did not go off as I had hoped. I'd like to cut off. I was telling Uncle Todd in the pre-production meeting about cutting holes in walls to kind of see what the heck is going on in there, because
just madness only lies that way. Madness.
I know. Well, because now the thing is, if I cut the hole, then I got to patch the hole up, and my drywalling expertise is not to the level that my NCAA prognostication is, and so
I was going to say, you don't strike me as the kind of person who is great at taping and mudding and all that.
No, not at all.
It seems like you're the kind of person who immediately starts Googling for reputable contractors in your area. As
Bingo! That's exactly what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Well, don't forget your other DIY project. You and the lad got a chance to engage in some automotive escapades and learn about jumping batteries.
We learned about how power works in a car and how we need to consider at times the consequences of our choices when we just turn the power in the car on with the headlights on, with the radio on, and everything else going, and no engine.
For how long?
This is partially my fault. I was in the arcade playing video games for 45 minutes. Now, here's the funny part. The dad that ended up coming and helping, jump our battery, because that's what it ended up being. Our battery was just dead and it needed to be jumped. Because he lives close to this. So we went to the Galloping Ghost, which is according to them, and I believe accepted, is the world's largest arcade. They have a ton of video games. It is insane. And we were parked right next to the building. And so I had my son tell the story of how we got to this, for them, because I did not want to be the one making up some story or I didn't want to embarrass him or anything like that. It was an innocent, decision.
So you let him do it himself,
let him do it himself. He did it in a very comedic way. They got a kick out of it. And the only part I threw in was, well, he went out to the car because I was going to play a couple more games. And I look at the dad and I'm like, which means 45 to 60 minutes. And he's like, absolutely. Yeah. Like, that's not a 10-minute thing. As you do. I mean, I had some high scores to post on Qbert, Spy Hunter, Donkey Kong. I had some, some achievements to at least walk out of that place.
Did they happen to have...
Yes.
I think it was called Overdrive, or no?
They did, yes. A racing game, right?
Well, it was a racing game it was like a mashup between a racing game and Spy Hunter, where you had like a car with like this gigantic cannon on the top.
Oh,
it might not have been Overdrive. It was something else.
I don't remember. I don't know if it was called Overdrive. I did not see that there, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there, because they just have so many games, and I
was obsessed with that game back in the day, in my junior high days, and there was that game was at City Hall Market in downtown Dover, and I would go back there and I would get my what is it, the Andy Cap pub fries, just just so horrible for you, and a Mountain Dew, and I'd just be back there for an hour and a half just playing that game. Great.
Good times.
Yeah.
No better time as well, if we're going to reminisce about our childhood of the 1980s. I don't know if you did this or not, but at the old Fun Spot on the Weeks Traffic Circle in Dover, report card time. Did you bring your report card in to get some tokens?
I believe I did, yes.
Yeah, so that was always a big thing when my sister and I got our report cards, that we would my dad would take us there, we'd cash in and then cash out.
I'm pretty sure I don't have a vivid memory of that. I have vivid memory of bringing in my Book It stickers to get my personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut.
There was that as well. Yep, personal pan pizza. Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, if you told me I like reading, and you tell me as a grown up, as a fat kid, I'm gonna get pizza too, this is win-win.
Hey, yes. And if you remember, this is back when Pizza Hut was a respectable establishment.
Oh, we were kings back then.
I remember going there, and I mean, it was like, if you didn't get there either before dinner or you could wait until after 8:00, it was one of those. At that time, everyone and their brother was going to Pizza Hut. It seemed like it was like a 45 to 60-minute wait at times on a weekend.
Well, you remember the old Pizza Hut used to be right across the street from McDonald's.
Yes. Yep.
And then they built a Pizza Hut that was like 3 times as big as the old Pizza Hut, just up the hill, which was always a little weird. Yes. And yeah, it became like that was the place to go. That was I can't even imagine how many people were seated in there, because it was like 2 or 3 different dining rooms, dining areas in there.
It was massive back then.
That was the place to go, man. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
And the pizza was good. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
It was very good pizza.
As someone who's been gluten-free for far too long, that is kind of my holy grail. Is like that pan pizza crust, because you don't get that with gluten-free. And I've had it at a couple places where I happened upon it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, this is the taste of my childhood.
Yeah.
This buttery, crispy, fluffy, but yet fluffy, crust. I'm like, this is it.
Yep.
So yeah, that was so good. And just to kind of piggyback on your battery adventures,
yes,
I experienced a similar thing, not this past week, but the week before, because my Jeep had been sitting for a long time this winter, and I had only been driving it periodically. Just because we have not been driving a lot. So a lot of the times we just end up taking, my wife's car, because it's got heated seats. And in the winter in Maine, heated seats are a real nice thing to have.
Got to have the tuchus warmer. Got to have the tuchus warmer.
And the steering wheel warmer.
And the steering.
That is really lovely. So I went to get my Jeep week before last, and just click. And I'm like, damn it. And the thing was, I knew that the battery was fairly new. Yeah. And it was within the 3 years, like, because I had it replaced by AAA. Yeah. In 24 or something. So they showed up, like, how much you been driving? I'm like, not a lot. Like, yeah, that'll do
it. That's the problem.
And I tried to jump it with my wife's car, and they're like, yeah, and it wouldn't turn over. So then I was really, okay, something's really screwed up. Yeah. They're like, yeah, no, it's going to take a lot of juice to get that engine to turn. And if you don't have the connection dead on, like, yeah. So guy showed up, ran it around. It's all good now, but yeah, it happens. It happens. Nice.
And I would highly recommend and tout the Hulkman, I think it's called Alpha 85 jump starter. It's basically this rectangular unit that you charge up. And then you have a cable that you plug into it when you need to use it. The other end of that cable, it splits off into the red and the black. You connect that to your battery. Literally can just lay it on top of whatever, obviously the hood is open, but just lay it there. And then just went and started the car, and it just jumped it. It was like perfect. I'm like, holy crap. Like, I need to get one of these. Because it was just that simple to use. So, yeah, I it's not my and another thing, but I would highly recommend it. So
right on. So before we get into your first item here, I want to do a little catch up for folks, because I know we had discussed before the fact that we had a new addition to the member of the family, with Marco joining the family along with Happy. Yes. So when we left things last week, things were still a little up in the air. Like, there was a little bit of standoffishness. A lot of that has gone away. Actually, here at my desk, because you can't see here because I'm facing it, but there's a window right here. And the other morning, I literally had both cats sitting next to each other, just looking out the window.
Nice.
In the early morning, just watching birds. And they were all. And now, Happy has been trying desperately to get Marco to, like, wrestle. He's wanted to wrestle so bad. And now,
you are literally like Steve Austin now. You've got your macho and your poncho.
Yep. And now they are, because now Happy is, and Happy is just like, will just tackle Marco and put him in a headlock. And he's like, and
you need to film this.
Oh, we do have footage.
Okay.
Now, the funniest part of this is, and I've been watching this over the past week, and Happy has been the instigator, and I'm like, dude, your ass is grass if Marco decides to really get behind this, because, like, you're a middleweight, he's a heavyweight. He got about 4.5 pounds on you, which is no joke when you're talking about two cats.
Yep.
And so, for whatever reason, man, I don't know why, someone brought us something, and so we had one of those reusable grocery tote bags, but it was one of the more fabric-y ones. It's not a plastic one. And it's from friggin' Walmart. And for whatever reason, it ended up laying on the floor in the kitchen. while we were doing stuff. And Marco came over and sat on it and just laid out on it. And he decided that he loved this Walmart bag. This was his Walmart bag. He was gonna. This is his blankie now. It's like Linus with his blankie. And we're like, you have a bed that you will not go on, and of all the places that you could all the comfy chairs, all the things you could be, you want a Walmart bag. Like that's your binky. Okay. So then eventually I was like, okay, we can't leave this in the middle of the friggin' floor. So we have this like bench next to our side door into the kitchen, because nobody uses the front door in Maine. So the door everyone comes in is the side door. So we have a bench there, put all the shoes under it so you can sit down, take your shoes off, put your shoes on, whatever. I put the bag up there because I know at some point I'm going to walk by this thing. I'm going to catch a corner of it. It's sitting on a tile floor. I will do the Keystone Cops, like just my feet go in the air, ass over tea kettle, and that's how I will end. Like, oh, he snapped his neck. How? Yeah, exactly. So I put it up on this bench. Well, Happy jumps up on the bench and he lays on Marco's Walmart bag.
Oh,
this did not sit well with Marco, because Happy had tried to do this a couple times when it was on the ground, and Marco had like scared him off. Well, Happy's sitting on the Walmart bag. It's on the bench. And Marco comes walking in the room, and he sees him, and you can see him just... He walks over, and he kind of looks at him, and he's staring at him. He's like giving him a chance. He's like, he's pulling the Godfather thing. Now, I could kick your ass.
Right. Oh,
and then all of a sudden, he just gets up on his hind legs and just like grabs Happy around the neck. It's like... and like yanks him off his Walmart bag. And then he hops up and he sits down in the Walmart bag. He's like, gosh. Mine. Like, wow. Now it's on. Now it's on.
Holy moly. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. So now a couple times, in the per afternoon, you just hear them tussling. And my wife is like, so my wife is like, you gotta stop them. I'm like, they're fine. They're not like, if there was a problem, there'd be clumps of fur. We would see blood. Like,
so, but when they wrestle, are they like making noise? Like, are they?
Oh yeah.
Like, actually, growling at each other or hissing at each other, or are they just?
So Marco is. Okay. I don't think, again, Happy doesn't make a whole lot of noise. He's very much the strong silent type. Like, he doesn't meow. Marco will meow, and he'll grumble. Like, literally, Marco will come. I'll be up late, and he will come in this room, and he will just be muttering under his breath, is what it sounds like. So, I'm like, what are you, like a 1970s New York cab driver just walking around? Yeah. But when they fight, you can hear Marco. He's like, so,
jeez.
Oh yeah, it's funny. And then they'll just kind of stare at each other for a while, and then one of them will start cleaning themselves, and that's kind of like the okay, we're done.
That's the who blinked first.
Yeah.
Whoever starts licking their rear end is lost.
It's funny, man. It is funny living in a house full of cats. But yeah, so I just want to give an update on the cat situation. Good. My two solid ass cats are deciding to get some ring work in.
I want to propose something though. You need to film footage. I know you said you had some, but we like we need to get a couple minutes of footage, and then you and I need to layer in some commentary onto the clip and then post that up on Instagram in the Free Range Idiocy channel or something like that.
Oh God, it's a slobber knocker.
There he is, elbow from the top. That's a classic catch can.
Yep.
Maneuver by Happy.
That's crazy. All right.
Well, speaking of wrestling, I think we should transition from cats wrestling into the actual professional wrestling that we have all come to love and adore. So as we are on this long road to WrestleMania, we got a few more weeks.
And winding road.
Indeed. Sir, you watched Raw Monday night.
I did.
I caught a couple of clips on YouTube of the show. I did not watch the show. I was mostly interested. I'm sorry. I did watch the tail end of the Monday night broadcast to see the Punk Reigns exchange because I was very curious about what they were doing there. And I had freed up from what I was doing with the family to watch. So let's start there. So Punk and Reigns had an interesting back and forth, and it didn't really start with the two of them. It started with the Usos and Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And this again is where I'm kind of curious where they're going with all this, because it seems like, Jimmy and Jay are more and more kind of getting themselves aligned with Roman again. They're very very much about respect for the family and getting Punk basically apologizing or getting some sort of comeuppance for what he's done. And I think the most interesting part of all this was, well, for one, your astute observation that Jimmy's a hell of a lot better on the mic. It really stood out to me. Like I had that in the back of my head as I was watching it, because you
it's
mentioned
not
that.
even close.
It is crazy to me how much better he is than Jay. Like it's really starting to stand out. Like Jay, I think Jay has overplayed the yeet, all of that stuff. Like he is a one-trick pony now, or maybe a couple trick pony, but it's like pretty much the same sort of theme from him. And Jimmy's got some layers to him. You know what I mean? Like he seems to have some layers to him where he's trying to be, he's like, yeah, I'm friends with you, Punk, but you kind of cross the line with the family here. And if you don't knock off what you're doing, our cousin's going to come and smash you, sort of thing. But the other interesting part was the fact that after Reigns had Superman punched Punk, is Jay telling him to go back in there and smash him, and Reigns doing it. And so we end the segment with Punk laughing and kind of saying, I'm not the one that needs help. He's the one that needs help. And I'm very curious tomorrow night if what we end up getting is now him playing off of that, saying, who is really the tribal chief here? Because Roman, you kind of had to be ordered to go do something, and then you did it. And it's great you did it. It didn't feel great for me, but I'm kind of like, are you really who you say you are? Because it doesn't seem like that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
It just feels like another level for him to mess with Roman in terms of who he is. And it kind of takes it out of that whole thing of you're a part-time player, you're blah, 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 blah. I mean, I still think Punk is justified in saying all those things. I think what I find really interesting is Reigns, the crowd is still cheering him and are fully behind him. And I really feel like where we're going for all this is Punk with a heel turn. But when Reigns talks so defiantly about, or talks about, Phil, you got to get on the same page, like with your wife, and understand how the big money people, play this game. It's kind of like one of those things, like, he comes off very heelish that way. It's like, so what you're saying, Roman, is you're really in this for like you're just about the paycheck is really what you're about. Whereas on the other hand, Punk is about building the business and continuing to build the prestige and honor of the World Heavyweight Championship and what that means and all of that. And so it's just this funny juxtaposition of, I would almost expect Roman to get booed more because he's kind of coming off as that entitled, arrogant, superstar, and Punk is trying to be the fighting champion, but it's reversed. It's like people are starting to boo, not boo Punk a whole lot. It's not like he comes out to a shower of boos. It's just when we get onto that subject of their family, then you start to see the dichotomy a little bit. But I've talked for a while. What do you think about all that and what you saw?
I think, last point first. I think that we're just seeing right now, and I heard it on Corny's podcast the other day, just another example of like it's fans right now, at least a lot of them who go to the events, are not necessarily as invested in heel face. Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? They just want to go there. They want to sing along. They want to pop for the things and all of that. And I still stand by the fact that I think a lot of it comes down to just the fact that this is not something that everybody is doing all the time. Like it's a very special occasion thing of like, you might go to one wrestling show this year And you don't want to go and boo Randy Orton. You don't want to go and boo Roman Reigns, no matter what they do, really, because that's your only chance to see them. You want to play along with, sing along with the greatest hits.
Yep.
How how they're going to choose, if they're going to leverage, and they by creative, how they're going to choose, or if they choose to leverage some of that in the storytelling might be interesting to keep it nebulous about, is there going to be a heel turn, or is this just what it is? That's kind of interesting, because I think we're in this place, especially with social media and the way that WWE has been doing things, of like sometimes very clunkily finding their way towards a new kayfabe,
Yeah.
I think it was very interesting, Roman taking orders.
Yep.
I think that could be very interesting. Like, are we heading towards an Usos heel turn more than anything? Like, could that be the thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the angle of basically Punk just playing up that whole, like, you can't do anything by yourself. Like, are we heading towards a stipulation for the WrestleMania match of a steel cage, or something that would put it in a position of like, Roman, you can't get help even if you want to. Now, of course, we all know, excuse me, in today's day and age, like, a steel cage don't mean jack, because there's people who just walk down and walk into the thing now, like, or whatever. It's
right.
meaningless in terms of what it used to mean, of like, okay, it's settle this between the two of you. So I don't know how that's going to work. And I mean, it really is like the example of like how one note Jay is as a performer, and as an interview. Like, he only has that one gear. He has the like one or two faces that he makes.
Yep.
Whether he's heel, face, it doesn't matter. Like, that's just what he is. And it is startling when you see his twin brother actually have range. And it's like, why isn't this guy getting the push?
I will amend my statement with one thing.
Yes.
Jimmy, to what you just said, Jimmy has layers with the promo. When we get into the ring, into a match, Jimmy is no better than Jay.
Oh no, and that's fine. I'm just saying, like, given the choice.
But I guess what I'm saying is, if Jimmy is smart, and again, I don't know how they decide and lay out their matches and that sort of thing, but if he's smart, I mean, and we've talked about this before, it's not like he needs to turn into a technical wrestler. It's not like he needs to turn into a brawler. If he can just introduce something a little different into the mix for a match, other than super kick, super kick, super kick. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm asking for, is a suplex or a spine buster.
Jay do that.
Or what?
We've seen Jay do it.
Yes.
He would bust
Jay
out a
beat
move.
Gunther with a sleeper hold, right?
But
Which is not
during that match, he busted out a couple of different moves. I think.
Yes. Yep.
I think what you see with these guys, and I think with any wrestler, who once they get a certain amount of tenure, is it becomes it's the reason why it is so difficult for, and to completely go off the scale here, it's the reason why running quarterbacks have such a difficult time becoming, or have in the past had such a difficult time becoming, kind of the quarterbacks of the future in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Because the NFL, it's a lot different. You can't just run over everybody, because you're not playing against, Kalamazoo A&M and, the Sisters of Mercy, 2-3 times a year, like you are in college, and you can't just take off and run and go for 2,000 yards. You have to be able to throw the ball, and unfortunately, some of those quarterbacks can just develop that instinct of like one look and they pull the ball down, and they just run. And the NFL, where you've got like the absolute best of every college coming in there, and the game moves faster, like a lot of those guys end up getting their clocks cleaned. And they don't have the patience to then, read here. We see the guys who have developed that, who have been able to develop those skills, and they're being successful. But it's taken a long time for folks to realize, like, oh, this can't be the thing. And I think a lot of wrestlers, just whether whatever skill set, not necessarily even the Usos. Like they just, okay, well, this works.
Yeah.
And they just never expand. They don't change anything, and it becomes totally paint by numbers.
I mean,
and I think the Usos are to take that to the extreme.
Yeah. And I use him as an example, and maybe it's not a great example because he may have had more creative control than we realize. But I look at someone like John Cena who tried a few different things. Like I thought, and maybe I'm confusing him with Jericho, but I could have swore there was a short time period where Cena was toying with kind of like a back fist sort of thing. Like I remember he had gone to China or Japan. You know, he had been off doing some filming or something like that, and he came back. This is before he went fully part-time. He was still somewhat full-time performer, and he came back and he had this sort of like, you know, like spinning elbow or spinning fist maneuver, but he was always trying to introduce something. Like he had his, you know, 5 moves of doom that he always did, right? But he was always trying to add something different in. You know, he added in the crippler crossface, you know, or they call it the STFU or something like that. He and a lot of that was playing off of the chance of you can't wrestle. So he's like, all right, I'm going to start busting out some moves. Like that's the part I don't understand with the Usos is, are they just trading on their names and just unwilling to just add something different in? Or
I don't know.
Like it doesn't, me being a fan, and I might be missing something here, probably am. It seems strange to me, especially when Jay started going on a singles run and seeing Jimmy now, like get out of your tag shtick and figure out who do you want to be as a singles wrestler? You know what I mean? And not that they have to go and fully reinvent themselves, but just have something where you can have a 10 to 15 minute match if you're asked to do one in a pay-per-view or whatever, where you break out maneuvers that are more than just splashes from the top and super kicks. Because it just, I mean, what killed Jay's shtick, I mean, there's a number of different things, being overplayed being one of them, but you know, super kick and splash and someone kicks out. Well, what the hell else do you have?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have a spear. So super kick, spear, splash, man, triple S right there. But you know, even then, even if they did all of those things and their opponent still kicked out, okay, well, what's next? Like you don't see them do a pile driver or a power bomb or, you know, any sort of submission maneuver. It's just like, if they could just introduce something different into the mix, I just think it would enrich their characters more and have them be, you know, seen as passable, entertaining, you know, performers. I think a few years ago, seeing the two of them in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania really exposed them.
Absolutely.
Like that is universally, like, I don't know if it's agreed it's the worst match at a WrestleMania, but it on that event, that was the worst match. Like they just were like, maybe they walked by Nia Jax, got a little bit of her energy, and just sucked the, you know, the
yes,
energy out of the room.
Blame it on Nia Jax. I'm all for it.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, she's part of the family too. They could have been having a little discussion before the match, and
old
you know,
cedar tree. A few of the leaves fell off on him.
She gave him some bad juju. You know what I mean? But all that being said, we've talked a lot about the Usos, but I think we're both in agreement that, on the mic, Jimmy is doing a much better job storytelling. I'm just afraid it's just not going to translate when he's in a match because they just seem to be stuck in their rut.
But then look at Steve Austin, like where he was for the bulk of his run on top. Like he was using essentially the same handful of moves, but he was interesting on the mic. And
but he also understood ring psychology. You know what I mean? Like his matches, you're absolutely right. He had the same set of moves, but he did something to have us not realize he was doing, like we saw what he was doing, but he was telling a story in the match. You know what I mean? Like there was always a story with his matches. And that's the thing I feel like is lacking with the Usos is there isn't much of a story in their matches because of the limited moveset they have.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. But
all right. Well, when Jay comes looking for you,
I'll just start doing this.
Yeah,
and then he'll
play
be
his
like,
music, and he'll gas himself to yeeting, and then you can
That's right.
Because that wasn't that one of the things like when they
Oh.
showed Unreal is like that was one of
Yeah.
their biggest problems was like he yeeted and then he got to the ring to have a match. He was already gassed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that's I mean
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's an issue. All right, what's up next year?
Well, wait a minute. And anything about Punk and Reigns though? We talked a lot about Usos. I mean,
No, I
did you...
think I kind of agree. Like something's going to happen here. Just not sure what. I'm intrigued. I'm really hoping that this just doesn't kind of lead to a meh kind of match because I mean we're building this strictly on a series of main event promos.
Yep.
Which in some ways is not great.
Yep.
But it's where we're at. So I'm just hoping that this kind of lives up to the hype and that we go down a somewhat interesting road. And
I will say this as well. I hear you from our last Week in Geek episode, and I think you're onto something.
I am.
If they are really truly going to start building toward Rock versus Reigns at next year's WrestleMania.
Oh dear God, no, they can't do that.
From what ends up happening at this one. Too long, but not nearly as interesting to me as a Punk heel turn with some sort of new partnership. Maybe it's with Heyman, maybe it's I don't know with whom, but yeah. I would be much more bought into a Punk heel turn, retaining the championship so that he then ends up losing it at SummerSlam, maybe to whoever the baby face is, whether it's Rollins, but maybe it's a triple threat with Rollins and Reigns. I think that would be really interesting. And you got Punk as kind of the devil who's kind of pitting, kind of the devil in both of their ears. I just think it feels like there's a lot more promise there than just we're going to build toward Rock Reigns, because that just doesn't, I don't know. So anyways.
And there's no way you can do that. The biggest fault with that, and in my mind at least, and again, I'm not booking this, so they probably are going to do that. Like Rock Reigns a year from now.
Yeah.
Like Rock ain't getting any younger. Reigns certainly ain't getting any younger. Neither one of them are going to be around enough to build that, and yet that's going to be your main event.
Yeah.
You're going to be treading water from between now and then.
And I feel like Reigns as champion is not going to be very compelling to me. So.
Yeah, if that's what we're heading for, can someone please call up Rikishi and just have him run me over? Because I can't deal with that. Just have Rikishi just hit me with a Lincoln Continental and just wipe my ass out. Like I don't want to limp away. Make sure it's a good square hit.
Yep.
From
the rooter to the tutor.
As long as I don't have to deal with Rikishi's tutor, I'm okay with that, I guess.
Gosh. All right. Well, we'll move on from Punk Reigns over to Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Again, I didn't watch SmackDown. I just caught a YouTube clip of Rhodes.
What was Jelly Roll doing involved again? Like how?
So last week,
was anyone clamoring for Jelly Roll? Were you clamoring?
I was not clamoring, but what I will report is last week on SmackDown, Jelly Roll was brought into. He was trying to be like the counsel, like the voice of reason for Randy. Like Randy, why are you going down this road? Why, Randy? Why? And Randy and Randy's been playing the character very kind of, like it's not like he's fully, like in the back he's fully evil. He's, he talked to him. He's like, no, I appreciate it. And then he ends up beating the crap out of Matt Cardona. This was last week. So in this clip, it's the first time we've seen Cody Rhodes since he had his, ass kicked. Mm-hmm. And it is this long walk to the ring for Cody while Randy's there. Cody assures Nick Aldis that he's just going there to talk to him. And then, of course, runs in the ring and starts beating the crap out of Randy Orton, which the crowd, pops for. But as this whole thing, and it turns into one of these brawls where, they break them up and one of them jumps on the guy and they brawl some more and they break them up and the other guy jumps on him and they brawl and it just goes round and round and round. And, Cody, like I saw this in comments, and I kind of lifted those comments into my note here in our outline. But there were times when Cody and Randy were it felt like they were brawling at like half speed. You know what I mean? Like this was not, Rhodes was punching, but he was like punch. There's some time, another punch. And I'm thinking, if you just got your ass kicked by this guy, you come in and I'm expecting you not only to knock his ass on the ground, but then to get on top of him where you have, your left arm around his head and you're just like peppering him with punches, because like you got to bring intensity to it.
Yeah, like Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura.
Bingo. And so that was one critique. And then eventually we get, because they had gone back and forth so many times, eventually Jelly Roll makes his way down and interjects himself, and Randy uses that as a moment to hit an RKO on him and then roll out of the ring and go up the aisle kind of smiling. And here's the kick. This to me is the kicker of it all. And I don't know if this is part of the grand plan or not. The crowd is cheering for Randy.
Yeah.
He's just taken the babyface musician who's probably going to fight, Kit Wilson or whatever his name is, maybe in some WrestleMania dark match. And he just gets he gets laid out by Randy Orton, and he's not getting booed. Like,
yeah, no, of course he's not. I mean, on Monday night they were saying one more for Roman on Punk.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, fair enough.
We're at that point where heel face it's not necessarily a thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's not necessarily a thing when you're dealing with people of a certain stature in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And Randy has hit that point.
Yeah.
He is now the resident. He's at the Cena tier level of, you're going to see him and you don't want to boo Randy because this might be the last time you see him in person, and kind of the same with Punk and Reigns. Like, they're also, who knows how many more times we see Punk in a pay-per-view or WrestleMania, how many more times we see Reigns at WrestleMania, or if you only go to one show every year, every other year, you might never get a chance to see him again. Like, people are not, even with Cena, they had a tough time getting people to really boo him. Yeah. Like, yeah, they would boo him initially, and then later on in the same segment, they'd be cheering.
Yeah.
Because they want to cheer Cena, it's very difficult making those folks heel, which is one of those reasons why I'm like, I really feel like I would agree with you. I think the CM Punk heel turn would be interesting. I think the bigger money is honestly in Cody turning heel.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I would agree.
But of course, you're not going to listen to me.
No. And and I think you can attest to this because you were at the event with me, but when Orton won Elimination Chamber, now he hadn't turned heel yet, but he won Elimination Chamber. And man, after the event, when because we hung around for probably a good 10 to 15 minutes after the event ended, probably about 10 minutes or so, I would say. And watching Randy walk ringside and sign, different merch from kids, families, that sort of stuff. There was one point where he puts on I think this little girl had a Chelsea Green cap on, and I don't know if you saw this, but he ended up putting it on and posing for a like he struck a pose like this or something like that, and they took a picture. I think they had like a little YouTube clip after the event of him doing that. But to your point, like, he is so beloved by the fan base, and that him turning on Cody like that, or pummeling Cody, you had to wonder, like, did he have concerns about what that would kind of do for that relationship? And it's just like the fans are just, like you said, they're solidly with him. They're solidly with him. And so now creatively, like, I don't know. It's like, what do you do? Like, you can't turn Cody and Punk heel because now you've got, 2 WrestleMania main events that you're going to have your babyface champion turn heel and retain. That would be weird.
I wouldn't put it past him though, because we've seen a bunch of other stuff where you think like, well, wait a minute, you just did that earlier in the show. Why doing that? Why, like,
Yep.
And it's not like we're in the 8 to 12 match pay-per-view, Vince McMahon booking style, like there's literally 4 or 5 matches.
Yeah.
It's really hard not to know
Now
what the finishes of the other matches are.
The thing I could be totally wrong about with Punk is, Punk has been, the constant for the last like 2 years. He's been at the center of a lot of main events. Do we see him take a break after WrestleMania? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Reigns wins and Punk kind of disappears for a few months and, comes back with maybe a rebooted, not a rebooted character, but just with a rebooted direction or a new direction, that sort of thing. I could be wrong. Once again, I think it'd be much more interesting for him to turn heel. Maybe you hold Rhodes off for a little bit longer. Like this match with Randy is one more step on his path to the dark side, because this is a guy that he looked up to as kind of a mentor and a brother, and now this brother has turned on him. Do we start to see them use this season from WrestleMania 42 to 40? Are we on 43 now? Shoot, where WrestleMania are we on?
I have no idea.
Hold on, let me just check real quick.
I think it's 43.
42.
Oh, okay.
So next year would be 43. So where I'm going with this is, do we start to see the corrupting influence? Does the belt start to become the ring from Lord of the Rings and starts corrupting Cody because he's seeing how it's affecting, Kevin Owens, how it affected, Randy now, and they can play into those things like the crowd reaction, because it's like, you all abandoned me, sort of thing. I don't know. It's got some interesting possibilities. Who knows how they're going to play it up, and I'm sure we'll get an Unreal season showing us where all the breadcrumbs were for what they ended up deciding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last one I have. I don't know if you have anything else from Raw.
I do, actually. But we can talk about this one first.
Oba Femi, looking like a absolute beast against the beast. Man, Brock and Paul can't, come out. Paul's running his mouth. Brock is soaking it up. Calls him overrated. Calls him overhyped. And here comes Oba. And man, after our discussion last week, I'm not going to say I'm wrong, but I think things are leaning kind of in your direction. All the camera shots they did to the crowd of the kids doing the strut was absolutely insane. I'm like, there were adults that were doing
that's a huge thing online now. That's become such a meme on Instagram and TikTok.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, I still don't get it, but it seems to be locking in with people. So.
Well, let's face it. Okay, because I know that you have your problems with the Oba strut and the whole like. Is it any more ridiculous than Ric Flair?
But he doesn't do that on the way to the like when Flair would walk to a match.
Yes.
He looked like a competitor getting ready to go defend his championship against his challenger. When he got in the ring, he did that. You're absolutely right. But my main thing is, if Femi is fighting Lesnar and Lesnar is this untamable beast who just like runs through people, it just feels like he should have a little more seriousness to him than just kind of doing the same old shtick that he does every time walking down the aisle. But
I see that as being serious, though. I see that as like he's taking his time. It's like, I don't need to rush. That ass whooping's going to be there when I get there.
Yeah.
And man, I'm bringing it with me.
Well, and so let's get to the action in the ring. Lesnar, gets him up in the F5, and then we have this great sequence where, Femi kind of shimmies out of it, pushes him off the ropes, and then just lays into him with a freaking clothesline. And credit, once again, Brock Lesnar, man, the way he sells, he went flying out of that ring. And then he's just staring at Femi, and then he's looking at Paul like, what the hell? When you saw that close up of his face and his eyes dart in Heyman's direction, I'm thinking to myself, Lesnar is like looking at Heyman like, what bill of goods have you just sold me here? Because now this is like week number 2. I just got my ass kicked.
And rightfully so. Like, there's no distraction. Like, you watched him come, you had him in your sights the whole time. you went in for the first shot. Yeah, it's going to a very interesting place with those two.
I'm liking it. What's the other thing you got from Raw?
And then, of course, our good buddy Adam Pearce had to tell Paul he needed to waddle back down to the ring because he had another appearance to go make.
Okay.
And that's when Paul came out and was we came back from commercial, and Paul is in the ring already. He's leaning on the ropes and says, "I am having a very bad night." And he talks about how Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are out. He talks about how Austin Theory and Logan Paul are both half conscious. He says Brock Lesnar is so pissed off that he's left the building. He's like, and that just leaves me. And Seth Rollins is out there, and he says, but a man has got to do what a man has got to do. And, the WWE ain't big enough for the two of us and all that. And then, of course, the masked man comes down, stands up on the announce desk, and we take off the 5 different layers of masks that apparently they feel they need to have, because we've got the ski mask, plus we've got this, we've got that, and the hood and the thing and the what's this, and
the scarf,
underneath all
the ascot,
exactly underneath all the layers, there is Seth Rollins. And then we have the Boston PD come out, and they're when I was listening to Cornette talk about this, he's like, well, back in the day, if we were here, we were there, we knew we could get real cops because we knew that we had people with relationship with them. He's like, I'm pretty sure that I saw guns, so I'm sure it seemed like they might have been legit cops, so and then Paul is like, yeah, and men in my family are squealers. We file lawsuits, and runs Rollins down. And they take Rollins out to the side. They're running him down the aisle. They're not bringing him down the entranceway. They're bringing him out through the crowd in that aisle way that runs parallel to everything. And then, basically how Rollins has now committed a felony, and he's going to be arrested. He's going to be thrown in prison. His wife is going to divorce him, and then his wife is going to be married to half the locker room. And then how then because of that, Child Protective Service is going to come in, and they're going to take the daughter away from the wife. And then he says, but don't worry, I will adopt your daughter. And it's just like going to this place of even for Heyman, I'm like, damn, we're kind of pulling out all the stops on this one. This is good. And then, of course, Rollins escapes the policeman and hightails his ass down the runway. And Paul takes his second bump in the span of a month, which has got to be a new record. But he actually throws the microphone at Rollins, which I thought Cornette had this great. He's like, when the hero is done, they fired all the bullets out of the gun at the killer robot that's coming towards him, and then they just throw the gun at him. And he's like, that's what Paul was doing, just throwing the mic at him, and then just Rollins plasters him, and so then the police cuff Rollins and take him away, and Paul is laughing because he's gotten one over. So we have 2 people laughing who just got their ass kicked on Raw on Monday night, which is a little odd that we kind of end it that way. And it might actually lend towards some credence towards your idea of Punk getting back together with Heyman. I mean, that's kind of a parallel there. Is it coincidence or not?
By the way, one of the best examples of what you just described that Heyman did was from the I think it was toward the end of Saving Private Ryan. Tom Sizemore, who played one of the guys in that platoon that was trying to save him, gets into a gunfight with one of the Germans, basically runs out of bullets, gets shot in the rear end, and then gets shot in the rear end, is still trying to shoot, runs out of bullets, and just throws his gun at the German soldier, and then along with some other stuff. He just breaks down from shooting to just throwing crap at him to just kind of to your point. So anyways, if you've never seen Saving Private Ryan, first of all, that's a must watch. You got to see that. That is phenomenal. But that is a really funny scene when
But oh my gosh, that was actually a really again, we're now adding a layer to this. So now what do we do with this? How do we handle this? Because I mean, technically speaking, if it's within 50 feet, Rollins could still be in the building. He can be up in one of those boxes, or he could be at the entryway or wherever, and we'll all just pretend that they're not mingling backstage. I mean, they're all coming down the same ramp. But that's it's kind of interesting. We'll see where this kind of heads to, because we're still in this spot of, is Rollins actually like legit for a shoot? Is he actually going to be able to wrestle at WrestleMania? Because as Corny had astutely pointed out, they cuffed his hands in front of him, which never happens. That's not how you handcuff somebody.
Yeah.
The idea being like, a lot less stress handcuffing someone like this than, doing this with a shoulder issue.
Yeah.
So, and with everything they've done, it's all stuff that is not involving Rollins really taking any bumps of any kind of magnitude.
Yeah.
So I kind of question, like, is this kind of a longer play?
Yeah. Right.
And the funny thing is, I think that it's hilarious. There's been so many conspiracy theories I've seen online about how, this is the Shield is going to be reuniting because they're, Punk is going to be back, is going to take over the Vision and all this, and then Rollins and Reigns will become alliances, an alliance of convenience and necessity, and then Moxley's contract runs out next year, so then we get the Shield reuniting fully at WrestleMania, next year. It's like, yes, and while we're sprinkling fairy dust on things, let's say that Andre the Giant comes back from the dead, or that we simulcast Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan wrestling in heaven.
I am the Brute Squad.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not?
Nice.
It's like
I do buy into that whole thing. Like I think it would. To me, I think that's how you get more longevity out of Punk Rollins, is to flip the script with the two of them. Have Punk be the heel,
totally.
have Rollins be the babyface that chases.
Yep, and it then could wind up with Rollins and Reigns. But the thing that when people add in the Moxley thing, that's where I'm just like,
I know.
Come on now, let's be reasonable.
It would be pretty cool to see the three of them together again.
It would, but there ain't no way he's coming back to WWE. And people, people can say,
it's a different place than when he left.
It was, but in essence, Paul Levesque is still there.
I know.
So then and just to throw another interesting theory here, because we've talked, you sent me that lovely meme of a missing poster with Gunther on it.
I love that.
there is a thought out there. Someone came up with this little conspiracy gem that Gunther would do an open challenge at WrestleMania, that he is going to retire somebody at WrestleMania, whoever has the courage to stand up to him. And that's when, he'll come out to the ring and I'll take on anybody who wants to come out here and put their career on the line against the true career killer and all that. And then we get break the walls down.
Oh, okay.
Jericho comes out. He has his one last match and retires. There's no retirement tour. He's back for a one night only.
I could get behind that.
In a way, I'm like, that probably would be the best way to do it. Like, if he's well rested and he can just, all he has to do is go for one more night. If that's maybe he's just of the mind of like, I don't want to do that. And then immediately shift over to like a commish role or something. I don't know. Yeah. But it's like, that is kind of funny, just to be like, and he's done.
Yeah.
Hi,
one and
bye.
done.
Anyways.
And it would continue to build that mystique of Gunther, because
but
it starts to get to a point where people are like, oh crap, but anyways.
But we're also seeing the problem of that, of like, okay, now like those have to be the stakes in every match now.
Well, they have to protect him at least through SummerSlam if the plan is for him to face Brock Lesnar, because I don't think Gunther can lose a match and have him be a credible threat to retiring Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get past SummerSlam, I start to wonder if I'm going to say we run out of legends for him to retire, but maybe the shtick has run its course at that point, and he starts to move. They move him in a different direction. You know what I mean? Like it goes from, like, he retires Lesnar, and then maybe there's, I don't know, something with Randy, something with. I mean, I would love to see him and Cody have like a title, angle, between the two of them, where Gunther, because Gunther can really put the boots to. I mean, Cody and Gunther have not faced off, and every time they have, which has mostly been in the Royal Rumble, Gunther's like slapped the crap out of him. You know what I mean? Like, so I would love to see the two of them in a program together. I
just thought.
So
I'm sorry.
No, go.
I just thought of how they can utilize Gunther most effectively going forwards, because we all know that WWE does talent cuts every single year. Maybe this is the way that they future endeavor people from now on. It's like you show up to the building and it's like, oh, by the way, Grayson Waller, you've got a match against Gunther tonight. Damn it. I just bought a house.
You have to face the cutter.
He becomes the Turk now. Just it's like in Major League, you see a red card in your locker. You see Gunther next to you on the sheet, and you know that your contract is coming up. It's like, well, gosh. It's been nice.
He becomes the new dead man. When you see me, you know you're done.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Undertaker is now the ambassador for the Hall of Fame. Gunther now takes over being, the
he's an extension
the
of
angel of death.
Right.
That's awesome.
New head of HR, Gunther.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Well, moving off of wrestling, my God, we're already at an hour here and we still have a few articles to go through.
You're chatty tonight.
Well, we have some things to discuss.
It's all those lawn clippings that you're drinking.
No, not at all. So hey, over the weekend, For All Mankind, season 5 premiered on Apple TV Plus.
Ooh,
and so my wife and I watched it last night. It's called First Light. Is the name of the first episode. I'm not going to talk much about the episode, other than to report. That Uncle Todd, we finally have what we have been asking for nearly not 4 seasons, probably a couple seasons.
Ed Baldwin.
We now have. I'm sorry?
Ed Baldwin in a diaper?
Not Ed Baldwin in a diaper, but we truly have ornery, crusty, old Ed Baldwin who's just like muttering.
He's always been ornery and crusty, though.
No, he's not flying anymore. He's basically
great.
Here's what's interesting. Well, do you want me to share a little bit about the episode, or you want me to hold off so you can?
Hold off, but it's okay. See, now you're not talking about ornery and crusty anymore, because he's been that since episode 1. Now we're just talking miserable bastard Ed Baldwin.
Fine, if that's what you want to call it, he's being a miserable bastard. That is what he is. And there's some interesting circumstances around his situation, but nonetheless, it was very, very funny, for me at least, to see him be kind of like, he's like muttering about the youngins, and he's just kind of shuffling along as he walks. I mean, it's the whole package is like, oh, Uncle Todd is gonna chef's kiss this. He's gonna love it. We finally Ed Baldwin has reached his final form.
So. Don't they have like another season? So they've been renewed for season 6 already.
Yes, that is going to be the last. They're going to bring it up to our time, basically.
So at that point, they're going to have to put Ed into a retirement home. Either he's getting killed off this season, or it's like he's going to be in some sort of retirement home in space.
Unless he discovers some fountain of youth on Mars, who knows? I've been revitalized. Give me a ship.
In a way, I kind of want to see that. I want to see crazed Ed Baldwin, patchy ass hair, deep wrinkles.
Oh yeah.
Nothing left to lose.
Joel Kinnaman, who plays Ed Baldwin, I mean, he is doing I feel like he's doing such a great job. Just playing that character, and especially now in this advanced age sort of situation, he's doing a good job playing crusty old Ed. So, miserable bastard old Ed.
Yes, thank you.
But part of what I want to talk about too is last week we had from our friends at thepopverse.com celebrating the best of TV, movies, and comics. Yes, the portfolio grows again.
I'm telling you, I'm not drinking any alcohol tonight, but you're driving me to it with some of these references here you have.
So Star City, which is going to be the telling of the For All Mankind story from the Russian perspective, now has a release date.
Oh.
And it happens to be on the same day that For All Mankind's finale for season 5 will air, which is May 29th of 2026.
Interesting.
So on that day, we will get both the first the debut episode of Star City season 1, on that day, as well as the finale for All Mankind. So looking forward to that. It is this show will be we will get a glimpse of a world where the Soviet Union landed on the moon before the U.S. and the space race subsequently never ended. In the spinoff of Star City, audiences will see the Soviets side of the story. So so we're actually going to go back in time, back to the beginning of essentially For All Mankind, and kind of see that play out. I'm kind of curious if they're going to do the historical montages kind of like as they've done, and they did it for this for this episode too, to kind of bridge the because we jumped 10 years forward. We were in 2002 in season 4, and now we jumped 10 years ahead to 2012, and I think for season 6 we'll jump 10 more years ahead into 2022. And so so just kind of curious how that's going to play out, and should be interesting.
Alrighty.
So that's all I had on that. I do want to say I'm really looking forward to episode 2. I have the Wikipedia page up here. The title of episode 2, The Hard 6, as opposed to the Rolling the Hard 8. So we'll have to see what that's about. All right.
I could have made so many jokes there, and yet I'm going to refrain.
I appreciate your
something about Ed wishing on his younger days, I'm guessing.
Okay. Nonetheless, from our friends at slashfilm.com, For All Mankind, how is Ed Baldwin still alive in season 5? I think this is a question that is racking everyone's brains. We do have old miserable bastard Ed Baldwin in this season, but the question remains, how on earth is he still alive? And so in this article, they kind of bring up a few different points of how Ed has made it to this point. Some of them I don't fully understand. So their very first reasoning around this is Ed has survived way too many disasters. I'm not sure how that justifies him being around for another season, but I understand, it seems like he's bulletproof because of all the various things he's been through. But nonetheless, they do bring up an interesting point.
Now, are they talking about like this just from like a storytelling perspective, or is this like literally like, oh, well, this is factually like how this character would live through all this?
I think it's more the former, because what they kind of talk about here, Ed's been with us from the start, and considering every season jumps ahead a decade in time, let's see, it's an obscenely long time for Ed to still be around. Not only is the man 81, but he's gone through so much that it shouldn't be possible for him to still be alive. So how is he still alive exactly? So that was kind of their first reason, was he has survived a lot of disasters. Let's see. He's outlived his wife, his son, his best friend. What else? Let's see. I was just looking for... Yeah, it says here, it's borderline ridiculous just how For All Mankind has managed to keep Ed around as a key figure in the story for so long with barely a demotion or consequence to the man's health. Which brings, and then they make the point, being in space exposes you to constant radiation, which heavily increases the risk of cancer. Surely we still have living astronauts like Buzz Aldrin, but he only really went to space twice, spending a total of 12 days there. By comparison, Ed has spent a significantly longer amount of time in space. He wasn't exposed to the solar flare like some of the other astronauts. You remember Molly Cobb from the show?
Yep.
But he's been in space longer than anyone alive in the universe of the show. So it feels like, I don't know, kind of feels like they're making an argument for he shouldn't be surviving. I don't know, but anyway.
Well, the thing is, like, there is a thing called plot armor that, when you're talking from a storytelling perspective, like there's so much of the story that revolves around this character. It would be an immense inconvenience to then eliminate them. Like they're protected on high, as it were, because otherwise it would toss everything into a cocked hat, if you will. And part of it is like there has to be some type of continuity through all this. And like everyone else is gone. So this is the only character really, I believe, that is from season 1, episode 1 to now.
Yep.
Maybe there's a couple others. I don't know. I haven't, like I said, I didn't watch all of season 4 yet and all that. So, but I mean, that makes sense. But at the same time, like, you do start running out of plausible ways to explain this, because at this point, like, you'd essentially have to say, well, he's been in space so long and he has so much cancer that the cancer is actually fighting itself and is letting Ed just kind of wander around, like there's you're stretching credulity, shall we say, to quote Captain Barbosa.
Now they do get into. Hopefully, you didn't read the article, but they do get into one aspect that is discussed in the first episode of season 5, pertaining to his health, which I won't get into.
Okay.
It may actually play into something that we just talked about, but yeah, it kind of speculates, based on that, are they teeing us up for maybe this being the last season for Ed? Because having him go all the way into the next season would just seem really implausible given, his situation. But I guess that is, I thought there were a few more reasons here, but it sounds like that was it. So,
all right. Well,
so yeah, so basically he's survived a lot of disasters. So why not keep him around a little bit longer?
Sure.
And I do like what they said too about, it does seem ridiculous too that all this time, if there's a nit to pick with the show, keeping him around as, someone from the very beginning, I do think there'd be something interesting about keeping him around through season 6 so that you get the guy who was there from the beginning and the guy who was there, kind of who's still there like right up until the end. Not that he makes it all the way to the finale of season 6, but maybe enough that he's still around. But, again, he'll be 91 at that point. And if he has health issues in season 5, how do you go 10 years and not suffer from that? You know what I mean? It seems like it's starting to border, like you just said, on the edge of credulity with how you're keeping him around.
Lunar cocaine.
Well, that could be. But nonetheless, we'll have to see. They do joke about, and this was a bit that was played in the series Black Mirror. Like once they ran they started with an episode around this, and then this gimmick started to then bleed into other episodes, which is really about the technology to transfer human consciousness into a robot. And so they're kind of joking here. Let's see. They're joking about, could we see this happen to Ed? Now they do quote Ronald D. Moore, who has long said that he views the show as sort of a prelude to Star Trek, meaning that the alternate history of the Apple TV series could theoretically lead the way to the bright and technologically advanced future of something like Star Trek. So is it possible that they, introduce that sort of technology where you could do something like that? I don't know.
Or is Ed Baldwin the first Cylon?
Number 1. Could be. So we will see. But yes, it is quasi ridiculous that he is still around. But let's see what season 5 brings us, and maybe we see the character, the ornery, miserable bastard that he is, finally come to his honorable conclusion. We will see.
Or if he's just going to start pooping his pants.
Could be doing that too. All right. Next one. Mandalorian and Grogu's wild cast and factoids concerning this franchise. So this was an article I found from ScreenRant.com.
Why do you have wild cast in quotation marks? I'm guessing is that sarcasm?
Because in this, that's part of the title of this article.
Okay.
I put it in quotes only because I thought it was kind of funny as well. They called it wild. I think it's interesting, some of the folks that are in it. Okay. Mostly we have there's Jeremy Allen White. I'm just trying to find
who.
Jeremy Allen White. He's on the show The Bear.
Oh yeah.
And then we have Sigourney Weaver, who is joining the cast as well. That's what they're kind of talking about with the wild cast. It just their argument here is the cast kind of makes this movie feel different from the television show and maybe from other Star Wars movies, and let me see. Let's see. Yeah, historically, Star Wars have favored emerging talent like Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Daisy Ridley. Even the prequels, despite adding Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, they still focused on relatively fresh faces. I think the fact that they have like Sigourney Weaver, Pedro Pascal, and Jeremy Allen White, that it's just kind of a different approach to the movie than what they've done in the past, where they've tried to find some up and coming actors.
I mean,
plus we have a vocal cameo from Martin Scorsese apparently in the movie as well.
I mean, yeah, okay, definitely with the original, Star Wars trilogy. Yeah, you're focused on young and upcoming. However, one of those young and upcoming stars had been in American Graffiti, which was a very popular movie.
Mm-hmm.
It just hadn't come out until kind of right before Star Wars. So I mean, and wasn't like the main character, fine. But Alec Guinness was in that movie, and I love how they gloss over. Well, in spite of Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson, whoa, playa. Like, you just can't gloss over that. Like, that's two of the fracking main characters for Phantom Menace that you're like, well, aside from them, oh, well, then, well, aside from, aside from 75% of the reality of the situation, it's completely plausible. Like, okay. I love this. It's like, well, it's different because these people have been in other movies. Like, you do know that's what acting is. Like,
Deep breaths.
There's times I think that there ought to be a license to be on the internet. There's times I'm like,
or to write for the internet. Is that what you're kind of getting at?
It should at least be a little more work. Like, we should go back to the days of AOL where you should at least have to get the internet in the mail first, and you have to like install it on your computer, and you have to dial in. Like, it should be a little more difficult than this rather than someone taking a dump and like typing an article real quick using Chat GPT and then uploading it before they wipe and flush. Like, it should take more effort than that, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I love, folks. This is getting Uncle Todd riled up. I love it.
Gotta have another non-alcoholic beer to cool down.
We're now seeing Uncle Todd as Ed Baldwin. Back in my day,
I might have pooped my pants. I don't know.
The other point is,
so I have to tell you this because this is funny. So, like, last week, in the middle of the night,
yes,
allegedly, I let loose with a fart.
Okay, that
was of heinous proportions.
Potent.
Woke my wife out of a sound sleep.
Oh, did you have your Goodwill Hunting moment there with the fart story?
woke to this cloud hanging over the bed, and then I woke up from it.
No.
And my immediate thing is like, I'm like, did you do that? And she's like, no. Like, that was me. And immediately, I because I'm gagging as I'm kind of doing this because it was terrible. So I'm like, and immediately I'm like, did I just crap myself? Because it was that bad. It was that bad.
My gosh.
Like, I might have just crapped my pants.
Oh boy,
I might have just crapped my drawers in bed. And I'm kind of,
you had your nutty professor moment. I think I soiled my shorts.
And I kind of do the little shift. I'm kind of like,
oh my god,
nope, we're good. We're good. We're good. It's just really nasty in here.
That is really funny. Really funny.
So anyways,
all right. Well, continuing in this article, there's a few more points that this article gets into.
Good. Oh, good. I can't wait.
A lot of it's around like why this movie may feel different than prior Star Wars movies, and I think it's trying to make the point that Disney is trying to use this as maybe a transitional movie to kind of reintroduce Star Wars back into the movie setting from streaming and TV. Okay. I don't know that I agree, but it makes the point. The viewers. As we go into this movie, of course, we're familiar with Grogu and Din Djarin. We're not going to be learning about them as part of, the storytelling here. It's a journey that's in progress. What else? They talk about, the trailer, how it's kind of emphasizing more grounded action, maybe tighter character dynamics, a frontier style showdown. Giving it kind of more of that, continuing that sort of Western feel that I think, season one kind of had. And the fact that, it seems like Lucasfilm and Disney are trying to position this movie as kind of a launch pad, for this new cinematic era for Star Wars. So instead of saga-driven storytelling centered on, the Skywalkers and so forth, the focus is now on characters who are more well known to the viewing audience, kind of earn their popularity through streaming. And if it succeeds, it could permanently, change the way that Star Wars movies are conceived and developed. So I don't know, thoughts on that point?
I don't know.
It seems highly speculative, and
yeah,
I will admit the trailer, and I'll be talking about this in my end, another thing, but when I went to the movie theater this past week, there was a trailer for the movie, and I mean, there is something that feels different about it. It almost feels like they're kind of hearkening back to the kinds of stories and movies that Lucas based Star Wars on, and I'm forgetting the term for it, but it was kind of those sci-fi
serials.
The serials, yeah,
like Flash Gordon and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you see Mandalorian and Grogu pop up, on the screen, it feels very much like in that theme.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do kind of see their point in that it feels like Disney and Star Wars are trying to, Lucasfilm and Disney are trying to, market this movie not as this massive, event like saga sort of thing, but just a entry into the franchise that looks like it's going to be action packed and fun filled and that sort of thing. And it's almost like kind of a, not that, I don't remember when season 3 wrapped up. It was a couple of years ago. So it's kind of like, I don't want to call it nostalgia, but it's kind of like, getting fans excited to see these characters again in a new story. So
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think?
It's definitely got a different vibe. But I think a lot of that comes from just by nature of how these characters have kind of grown, like when we saw episode 1 of Mando, it was very much like, oh my gosh, like the Clint Eastwood character walking into town and he was the badass. And then this character has kind of grown in a different direction by virtue of being in contact with these other characters, like with Ahsoka, with Grogu, of course. And, of course with Queel, like all these different characters have had an effect on him, to the point where it's not just this badass anymore. Like it's this, almost fatherly sort of relationship. And it's like, so yeah, it's going to feel different. Yeah. And I agree. I think you're right. I think they are trying to push this less as like, the next blockbuster Star Wars movie. And it's just more of like, it's a movie. Here is an adventure. And that's actually kind of refreshing to me, because that was kind of what the original Star Wars was. Like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is a summer blockbuster. It's like, well, that wasn't a thing until Star Wars really came along, so just make, like we've said before, rather than focusing on, oh my gosh, the next 6 movies, like just make a damn good movie first, Yep. So we'll see. The proof will be in the watching. So I'm just trying to not get too excited or get too much in a twist over anything right now. Like we'll see.
And the last point they touch on, which is less about the movie and more about the future of the franchise, is even after the movie, will we get a season 4 to The Mandalorian? And Jon Favreau is quoted as saying, we were planning on doing a 4th season. I actually had written all of that. I still have season 4 sitting on my desk. So sounds like there could be a season 4, but I would also, I'm not sure quite how that would fit in with this whole idea of, if this movie does well and they have maybe other movie projects planned, not with these characters, but with other characters. And if they're kind of leading up to this, if we're going to get Filoni's version of Heir of the Empire, which it sounded like things were moving toward, I'm not quite sure how a season 4 would work into that, but we will see.
Yeah. I don't know. That would be weird. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a quick break here. I thought I was going to make it, but we have carried on and carried on and carried on, and therefore the bladder must be relieved. So I'll be back in just a moment.
Please carry on.
A few moments later.
Better?
Yes, much. I'm trying to hydrate today, and apparently it's paying off.
When you said we were carrying on, it made me think of the George Carlin special when he's doing his bit on flying on airplanes, and
Yes.
he breaks down the safety lecture and talks about, carry on. I vision people carrying on. That man and his ability to break down the English language in all its contexts and forms is just unmatched by anyone.
Yes.
So, phenomenal. All right. Well, enough about Star Wars. Of course, it wouldn't be a Week in Geek without our weekly dose of Avengers Doomsday rumors. And let me tell you,
goody.
This is an article that I had in the holster from the beginning of this month that we did not get around to.
Mm-hmm.
It actually is a list of several rumors that have gone around. So I'm just going to run through these real quick, and we can talk about any that you might find interesting or foolish. So this is a cornucopia, if you will, of rumors. Less of this week, more of from this month. Okay. And this will be interesting because some of it flies counter to some of the things we've talked about over the last couple of weeks too. So it's kind of funny.
I think you just broke the record for most prefaces of
and one more
to an article. That was at least 4 to 5 distinct prefaces that you were like, and furthermore.
All right. Well, here's the first rumor.
Getting to this anytime soon.
The Valhalla army is rumored to join Thor. So Thor will receive help from deceased Asgardians during a battle, and the rumored army includes Jane Foster, Heimdall, Loki, and the Warriors 3. So
wow,
that would be kind of interesting. The scooper's name is Majestic in all caps _UCM. Claimed Odin's voice tells Thor, "Lead them into battle, my son, before Valhalla warriors arrive." And the scene reportedly occurs after Thor calls for help during the conflict. So we could see a army of the dead that is called to action by one Thor.
Interesting.
Any thoughts on this?
Okay.
Sure.
I mean, as long as it's like it's not on your left, it's on your right, I guess. But it kind of feels very similar to that.
From below.
Yeah.
The zombie army. Okay, the next one, and this one's kind of a given our past rumors that we've talked about, that Loki will play an important role in this movie.
Oh, boy, yeah.
And the rumor connects the Time Variance Authority plotline to Steve Rogers living in the past. So we have talked about this on multiple occasions, that the TVA will be crossing paths with Steve Rogers, and Loki potentially warning him of his incursions going into the past based on decisions he has made. So we will see what that if that pans out.
All right. I'm guessing it doesn't, because like you're rooting for Steve Rogers' kid to get so.
Well, I mean, it's Dr. Doom doing it,
but you're rooting for it. You're like,
I'm not
kill
rooting
that
for
kid.
it.
Get him.
I'm not.
Get him.
Stop it.
Get him. Doom.
All right. The Fantastic Four may gain another member, making them the Fantastic Five. Jeez, are you okay over there? Jeez. Is that what Happy looks like when he tackles Marco?
Kind of.
All right. A rumor states Reed Richards and Sue Storm will have a daughter. Valeria will appear. Dr. Doom reportedly assists in the birth of the child. The report. I like how they worded that. Assists in the birth of the child.
I didn't realize Dr. Doom was going to be scrubbing in.
The report claimed, hey, he's got to earn that doctor moniker. The report claims the child is named.
It's not an honorary. Holy crap. That'd be a hell of a time to find out. By the way, it was just an honorary degree. Would you mind retracting your arms then, sir?
Yes. The child, the report claims the child is named after Doom's late wife, Valeria. The development would expand the team beyond the 4 core members, which I guess would imply that Doom is on good terms with Reed Richards at this point in time, if they were to do that.
Okay.
Like, why would you name your kid after Doom's wife if Doom was your mortal enemy? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which brings up the awkwardness of then having to explain later. Yeah, and Uncle Doom, well, he kind of went a little cray-cray.
Yeah. He's got some issues. Let's see. We've talked about this before. Loki may appear in only a few scenes. From someone you're familiar with, from the rumor scooper, My Time to Shine. Hello.
Oh, this son of a bitch. Okay.
Loki only has 2 or 3 scenes in Avengers Doomsday. Character's role is rumored to be brief, but tied to TVA events. And as we've talked about, We've talked about rumors of Thor and Steve Rogers visiting the TVA after it is attacked, and that Loki may be already dead when they arrive. So we could see, which is really kind of ironic, because then Loki has the distinction of dying not in the first part of an Avengers duology, but in two first parts of the duology. So he died at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, and he's going to die potentially in Avengers Doomsday. So
and if I'm not mistaken, this will be like the third time he's died.
Yes. I'm not quite dead yet.
Yeah.
What was mainly a flesh one?
You remember the movie Red? Bruce Willis, Malkovich, and they're talking about, oh well, he died in such and such time, and he died here, and the girl's like, wait a minute, I thought you said he died here. Marvin's died many times. It's the same shtick with Loki.
Yeah, basically. Let's see. Dr. Doom reportedly destroys multiverse branches. We've talked about this. That Doom goes and destroys most timelines after attacking the TVA. Only one timeline will reportedly be left intact. We talked about this last week. Again, this one is from My Time to Shine. Hello. When Doom destroys the TVA, he makes sure also to destroy every time branch except one, but Marvel has not confirmed this claim. So another rumor. Here's one we haven't talked about.
They haven't verified it. I was really waiting for him to chime in on that.
Because let's give the movie.
You nailed it. My Time to Shine. Hello, son of a bitch. Now what do we do?
I don't know. This is one we haven't talked about. Falcon. So again, the Falcon that was in the original timeline is, of course, now Captain America. So this is Joaquin Torres's Falcon. This rumor implies that he will have an early death in the film. That he will only be in the film for at least 5 minutes and die very, very early in the film. He has been, of course, in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Captain America: Brave New World. So, I don't know. Thoughts on that one?
I mean,
this is not attributed to any one particular rumor scooper. So,
Scooper is right. I just don't see the point of them going through like the whole shtick here and then just offing the character. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That just seems a little weird to me, but I mean, everyone's throwing stuff up against the wall right now. Basically.
This is another interesting one. Doctor Strange rumored to work for Doom. So here, your buddy, insider Daniel Richtman, said Doom's right-hand man is a masked wizard using a sling ring. The figure reportedly has a mask with a slot for a third eye. And then this other scooper named Majestic UCM claimed the character is the Earth 616 Doctor Strange. Scarlet Witch, Clea, and Master Hulk, and a shapeshifter are also rumored allies. I don't know about any of this.
Okay.
So.
Now we're getting to the far corners of the Marvel universe.
We have another rumor about a villain disguising themselves. Maybe this is the shapeshifter as Peggy Carter. So the shapeshifter reportedly impersonates Peggy. Just the disguise is meant to deceive Steve Rogers. The report claims the villain tries to capture Steve and Peggy's son. Haley Atwell would appear as both the real Peggy and the impersonator. So, sure, if Doom has a shapeshifter in his crew, why not?
Yeah. So I did see on the Instagrams today. I can't remember. Did I send this to you or not?
I don't think so.
I don't think I did. Basically tying in Moon Knight.
No, you did not send that to me.
The idea that when in the first episode, when the dude starts blacking in and out, he's in the van and all that. At one point, if you freeze frame it, you will see some cargo in the van that has Von D, with the rest of the word is cut off.
Oh.
And also the idea that there is a castle from whence he is running away from, that it resembles to a great degree depictions of Doom's castle in Latveria, and where he also keeps treasures, where like that scarab that he was running away with, that might have been a thing too. The idea being that Moon Knight, part of the reason Moon Knight has not been included in any of the reindeer games since movies and things that have been happening since then, is because Moon Knight is actually on a different Earth. He's on Doom's version of Earth in whatever universe that is. and that he will somehow interact with the Marvel universe that way. I can't take credit for this one. I saw it on Instagram. But yeah, it's interesting, but it also feels like one of those things where it's just a little too cute to have been laying the groundwork for that a couple of years ago. But we'll see. It is kind of criminal that Moon Knight and Shang-Chi have not made more of in the MCU, because they were kind of two of the cooler characters.
They were. Yeah. Let's see. Doctor Strange 2 could connect to Doomsday. This is from Scooper, and I kid you not, Cryptic HD Quality is their name. So Doctor Strange,
that's coming out of some bot farm, dude.
Well, okay, you will appreciate this. Claims that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has heavy connections to Doomsday. The claim refers to more than the film's post-credit scenes. Here we go. Scooper, My Time to Shine Hello, responded to the rumor by writing, I mean, not really. So, My Time to Shine Hello is not convinced of this. So,
I think it's the same dude holding both puppets here.
So you think this is Palpatine, basically?
Yes,
we're getting playing both sides of the war.
I think My Time to Shine Hello has his own little
Cryptic HD Quality. Okay,
I think so. Yes, and just not very imaginative with their usernames.
Last rumor: Doctor Doom's past may be shown. Well, duh. A rumor says Doom's family dies during a lab experiment. The accident reportedly damages Doom and shapes his motivations. The report claims Steve Rogers indirectly causes the event through multiverse changes. Marvel has not confirmed the storyline. Duh. So yeah, that's where we are. So that is, ladies and gentlemen,
this feels very
your weekly Avengers Doomsday update. And lastly, as we wrap things up here, I say to you, sir,
don't say to me,
slacker.
It's getting friggin' late here, dude. I didn't say to me anything,
slacker.
Yes, we lost a titan of screen and stage.
We did. Actor James Tolkan, known for his roles as a cigar-chomping naval commander in Top Gun.
Very sweaty one, too. He was always sweating. Everyone in that movie was very sweaty.
Yes.
Apparently AC was not invented in the mid-'80s.
It was quite humid on the aircraft carrier.
As it will, yeah.
And a gruff high school administrator. I don't know, this is why they just call him principal. Call him Principal Strickland.
Well, actually, wouldn't he be the vice principal? Because usually wasn't the vice principal the hard ass? Or was he the principal?
Well, he might have been vice principal when Marty went back in time, when he was younger. And then by the time Marty was in that high school, he may have been the principal, yeah. But in Back to the Future, he was 94. He died Thursday in Lake Placid, New York. Where he lived, and apparently, according to his obituary, died peacefully, but no cause of death was given. But yes, he was the principal, Gerald Strickland, who eyeballed students for trouble in the halls of the fictitious Hill Valley High School, in particular Marty McFly, with the following quote, "You got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker. You remind me of your father when he went here. He was a slacker, too." He was great. That guy was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was, and he had a lot.
Because Marty was like, "Oh yes, sir."
Yeah.
Phenomenal, just phenomenal.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, and it's not funny, but I mean, it is always interesting to me when it's like, they passed away peacefully. No cause of death is listed. It's like at 94. Like, do you really need it? Like, you old. Like, there is a certain point, and we're hurtling there, where it's like you don't need the cause of death. Like, you're just old. Like. The warranty done run out and the parts failed. Like, that's just the way this thing worked. We don't, maybe it was one thing or another, but at a certain point, it's just like, nah, you're just old. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And in the article here, in the article here from Top Gun, when he talks to Tom Cruise's character about his choice for future duty, and Tom Cruise's character comes back with it, he wants to be a Top Gun instructor. Tolkien's character replies, laughing, "God help us,"
while just dripping with sweat. His entire uniform just plastered to his body.
Basically. So we raise a glass to Principal Strickland. You are a school administrator that few will ever forget.
Yes.
Slacker.
All
and that,
right.
my friends, is your neat and tidy Weekend Geek.
What do you got for quickly? What do you have for in another thing for this week, sir?
I love how you're telling me quickly.
Quickly.
You draw a lot of these things out, my friend.
Quick! I did not draw anything out. You're the one over
You
there.
went far and long on the Usos. Let me tell you.
That was about an hour ago.
All right. My and another thing. This past week, I went to the theater with my wife to see Project Hail Mary in theaters.
Oh,
I'm
and
actually
your
in the process of reading the book as well. I'm about 100 pages in. I would highly recommend it. It is a phenomenal movie. Really, really good. Really great story. Great message. Definitely a movie needed for the times that we're in. Let's just say that. So it is. And again, the whole theme of the book that Andy Weir, the author, wrote is really about, especially in science, how it isn't about the individual achievement. It's about the community working together. And he does a really, really creative way of telling that story in this story. And so it's not as nearly in the weeds on science as The Martian was, but there are there are definitely aspects of it. Andy Weir, former software engineer who just has I don't think he has a degree in astrophysics, but it's something that's a hobby of his, and he's just very deep and steeped in it. Excuse me. So he brings that sort of angle into his books, and I will say for this book, it is not, it's not crazy heavy on the science. It has some in it, but it's the sort of thing that I think you need to have in the story to just kind of deepen, the world building and the context of what's going on. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So if I'm not going to be one, if someone who's gonna get on their pedestal and say, hey, read the book before you see the movie, but it probably would help to not break certain surprises, I guess, that happen in the movie. So if you have a chance to read the book, definitely do that. Otherwise, check the movie out. But you will not be disappointed. Ryan Gosling is excellent in it, and like I said, it is a well put together story and a good movie.
Excellent.
And what is your end and other thing, Seb?
My and another thing is going to be to check out the Nth Power, which is a band that has been around since I believe around 2013. I saw them several years ago. I want to say, I think it was pre-COVID, so it's been a while. They've been through a couple of incarnations. Primarily, though, they've been a trio for most of their existence. And I'll read here a little bit from their biography. The trio hails from diverse musical backgrounds, races, and creeds. Female powerhouse Nikki Glaspie was Beyonce's world touring drummer for 5 years before she joined Ivan Neville's New Orleans funk outfit Dumpster Funk. And in there, she has also been a drummer for Maceo Parker, who has been one of those dudes who's like kind of foundational to funk music, all the way stretching back to James Brown's band through Parliament Funkadelic. Bassist Nate Edgar, and also UNH alumni of Groovechild and John Brown's Body, perfectly complements singer and guitarist Nick Casarino, who came from the Jennifer Hartswick band and toured with Big Daddy Kane. Because pimping ain't easy, but a show is fun. So I saw these guys, like I said, years ago here in Portland, Maine. They are touring now. I'm going to get a chance to go see them again in June of this year. Their new album is coming out soon. It is called Never Alone. There is a single right now called Dream Alive that is live on the music platforms. Let me go back one screen here and just see here. The new album will be fully released on May 1st, so we got another month before that hits. But just a lot of a really solid band, and a lot coming from 3 people on stage. And just the combination of like funk, soul, jazz. I mean, there's a lot of influences going on with these 3 cats, and they're a lot of fun to watch and listen to, and some really deep lyrics, great lead singer. So definitely check them out. They've got a couple of albums out, as well as an EP previous to this one. But just a really great band. So check them out if you have the opportunity. Like I said, they're touring right now. And we'll be touring through, looks like the end of July. So,
very nice.
Yeah. And actually, are they coming anywhere near you? I'm curious now. it appears they might not be. They might have already swung through the Chicagoland area. But if you're in South Carolina, North Carolina, kind of the East Coast sort of thing, you got a chance to see them. So yeah, check out the Nth Power. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for our Week in Geek Wednesday. Thank you all for tuning in. You can find us at freerangeidiocy.com. Find all of our episodes there. You can download them one by one or en masse. You can also subscribe there through the Podbean app. You can find us on the other apps on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora. What's the one I'm forgetting here? Spotify. Yeah.
Spotify. There you go.
You can also find full video episodes on our YouTube channel. We're on Facebook and Instagram as well. All of those are at Free Range Idiocy. You can send some questions or thoughts or concerns to Tim at freerangeidiocy.com, and he'll get back to them. I won't, because I don't care. And you can also, throw us a little like on something, and that just makes us happy. And now, sir, it's time for you to take us home here. This is your show, so how do we wind this thing up? How do we put a bow on it? How do we finish?
To the interwebs, we say. Actually, before I start, I have one more thing on the top.
Oh, son of a bitch! What?
To the interwebs, we say you're suspect. We don't know what your reputation is in this town. Well, we kind of do. But after what you tried to pull today, you can bet we'll be looking into you. And to our listeners, we say good day, ladies and gentlemen. And until that day comes, keep your ear to the grindstone.
You're messing with my Zen thing, man.
And one more thing. No.
Don't push it.
Now get the hell out of here!